welcome back. My name is Candi if you're new here, and this is my channel, SweetCreekThrift, and here I am a part-time reseller, and today I'm going to share with you just what I learned in 2024 and some goals that I have for 2025, and also go over the breakdown of how much I earned last year in 2024. And so if you're new here or you're new to my channel, welcome. And if you have been with me for a while, welcome back. I really, truly appreciate all of you guys. This year, I feel like I grew a lot doing YouTube. I have learned a lot of things on how to do like editing and things like that, and what apps I like to do or use for my editing. So I think I felt like I kind of grew a little bit more in my YouTube journey. But I like YouTube, and I've been doing it a lot in the past with my gardening channel, which is called 2 Acres in Texas, which I haven't really done a lot in the last year and a half. I got bronchitis a couple summers ago, and it just kind of, I just really have been out, like haven't had the energy to do it since that year. And last year, I was just doing a lot of resale stuff. I was really focusing last year in 2024 on resale. So the gardening thing kind of fell off the wagon. So this year in 2025, I'm really hoping that I can accomplish both growing some garden stuff and spending the quality time that I need to get outside and work in the garden and like weeding and planting and prepping beds. And it takes a lot of time to do a garden. And so I didn't give myself the quality time this year, so I'm going to try to do both. And I'm going to try to maintain my thrifting business as well, because I think I can do it, but it's just going to take a lot more time. And I think my husband's a little bit on board now, so we'll see. And he might help me with the gardening side anyways. But basically, I do part-time resale. If you're new here, I purchase items from thrift stores or like the Goodwill outlet bins where you can get them at lower costs. Or if I can get to a garage sale or a flea market, I think I did like a couple this year and that sort of thing. And then I would like to do more garage sales this year. That would be a good goal for this year. Where I live though, it's out in the country, so it would require me getting up early and driving an hour to get into a bigger town, so that way I can get to more garage sales that are probably got, you know, better items. But so anyways, I just want to kind of go through kind of my year-end stats, where I'm at. So I know at the beginning of 2024, I really started doing my, I want to say my YouTube at the very end. It was like November or December. I think it was in December of 23. So I've been on YouTube doing this channel at least since then. So it's been a little over a year, and it is slowly growing. And so I'm really happy about that. It is slowly, but I feel like it's more of an authentic following. I'm not like getting, you know, paid followers or anything like that. So it is more authentic, which is what I really wanted. And it also helps me look back as I go back, and if I want to, like, I've actually used my own videos a few times trying to figure out like how much did I pay for that item or whatever. But I do keep good books, and I've gotten better at it this year, so I'm really happy with myself for that. Anyways, so I will say some of my main goals that, well, actually let's start with what I learned in 2024 and a few of the things that I would say, like, okay, one big mistake I made was back in January of 24. I had just started doing more on eBay again. Like, I've sold on eBay for over 20 years. I didn't sell for many of those years, but I had sold stuff over 20 years ago, and like around the time it first came out. So I had history with eBay. I think there's been a few times over the years I might have put something on eBay, but I was never considering it as a business, more as just like a marketplace to sell something that, yeah, that I would sell on eBay. So, but as of maybe early 2024 is when I really, maybe even 2023, at the end of 23, I started to really put more and more of my items onto eBay. So I think I have around 700 or 800 items on eBay right now that are active. I want to say they're active. I'll have to look it up. And I had somebody submit a return request, and I made the rookie mistake of refunding, because it says refund them right there. So like when you accept their return, which I accept returns for 30 days, but the buyer has to pay shipping. So I'm totally willing to do that. I understand that happens in the industry and I'm okay with that. So, but I made the rookie mistake of hitting that refund the buyer, and they had already like printed, I know because we can do that, but they had already printed like a printing, like a mailing label essentially. So it said they had already like so-called shipped it, but the tracking hadn't started. And I hit refund the buyer and I refunded the full amount. And of course that buyer never shipped the item. So I lost the item and the money. Luckily I'd only had $1.27 invested. So I didn't lose a lot of money that way, but I did lose that would have been income. So that went back away. So lesson learned, and I have never done that again. A lot of new brands that I've learned this year. So I couldn't even begin to tell you because I have learned so many brands this year. And I do a lot of research. I watch a lot of YouTubers that post like what sold videos and the people that have been doing this longer and that I look up to. And so I get a lot of, I try to just absorb a lot of information when I have the time to get on there. And I usually do that when I'm prepping my items to take pictures. I'm steaming my items, and when I'm sitting down, I'm just posting them because I use my phone to post so I can watch on the TV. And so I do watch a lot of videos. So I'm going to continue doing that, of course. That's a big part of my education. And then I have decided, I feel like I've learned this year to be a lot more careful about what I pick up. Now, I will say this is essentially when I'm going to a thrift store and not to the outlet bins. The outlet bins, I'm going to be a little bit more flax because you can find great brands if you can go all the time and be more picky and choosy. But the amount of times I get to go to the bins is not that often because it's a couple hours, at least an hour and a half to 2 hours from where I live. So my bins trips are right now, at least just a couple times a year. I would love a goal to be to go every month, but I just don't see that being possible. Maybe in the future, but right now that's not a part of my life. So plus I get too much when I do that and I would not be able to get through all the items to get them posted. So it's better for me just to do maybe 2 or 3 trips to the bin a year. So that's kind of what, I just saw my cat try to catch a bird outside. It was kind of funny. But anyways, I am going to be more careful when I'm going to a regular thrift store. I'm going to be a lot more picky and choosy. And I think I've learned that over this year. I definitely was honing in because earlier on at the end of 23 and early 24, I definitely picked up some more questionable items. And I still make mistakes, and I will admit when I make mistakes, and especially when I get home and I'm doing better comps and realizing I shouldn't have picked that up, but if I can at least get back what I paid for it, I'll be happy in those mistake items. But I feel like I've definitely learned a lot because I have been able to pick up higher value, higher quality items. And so that is where I'm going to go to my goals for 2025. So I will say that is one of my main goals, is to continue to get the education and to continue to learn how to pick up higher quality items and the better sell-through rate items, so that way they're not sitting as long as I have been. Now, a lot of my inventory from when I started was from donations, so it wasn't stuff that I actually picked up myself. Therefore, it has sat some of it has sat and is still sitting there. But I have picked up a lot over the last year and a half that is still sitting there. So I definitely am trying to train myself of what to pick up and what not to pick up, what to go ahead and just say, no, I don't want that. And I am going to try to give myself a limit of I need to make at least this much profit or it's not worth picking up. So yeah, so I don't want to actively be picking up items that I'm only going to earn $2 or $3 because it is a waste of my time, and that's time I could be gardening. So if I can actually get myself trained to just pick up those higher value items, then I will be in a better position. Which also leads to going to the thrift stores more than I have been. If I go more, then I have a better opportunity to find the items. than if I go less. But at the same time, it's a big trip. It costs money for gas and time, and then I'm hungry and I've got to buy stuff to eat and get something. Yeah, it's like practically a whole day. So, but I'm gonna try to start going, hoping like once a week-ish, at least 3 times a month, and that would just be to a standard Goodwill or a thrift store that I can get to, essentially. Another item that I want to get done this year is to start an eBay store. So like I was saying, I have around 700-800 active listings on eBay now, which is a lot more than I had at the beginning of last year, of 2024. So I think this year, and I literally hit my limit, and it was warning me, oh, by the way, you're going to have to pay an insertion fee. And I haven't really had that most of this year. So I think I'm just at that sweet spot where I think I do need to go ahead and pay for the store. That way I don't have to pay the insertion fees and I can get more posted each month. So that is something I plan to hopefully start in the next couple of months, is to get an eBay store started. The next item, I guess I would say, is that goes along with that is I want to do at least a minimum of 3. I know it's not a lot for a lot of you guys that do like 10 a day or 20 a day. That's a lot. But I want to get at least a minimum of 3 new listings, fresh, brand new listings up every day for 6 days a week. So I take Sundays off, and that's like my church day and everything. So I just don't work Sundays at all on anything that has to do with income producing stuff. That's what I felt like God told me, is just to leave Sundays alone. And I like that because that gives me a whole day where I'm not thinking about any of those work things. Well, I think about it, but I can just like say, okay, I'm just going to focus on all this other stuff in my life and like not worry about it and just have a nice day to relax. So I think it's a very valid thing that you're not continually working and stressing. Like, you need to give yourself that break. So if you have felt that in your life, definitely I challenge you to think it over and try that. Give yourself at least a day of the week that you can just put everything aside and just ignore that side of your life for a day. You will, trust me, you will enjoy it after a few months. So let's see. Okay, so I want at least 3 per day for 6 days a week. And if I can get more posted, great, but at least a minimum of 3. And in doing that, I do want to build up that reserve. I follow Gloria. She's, what's her channel? Glow? No, I can't remember it. Okay, anyways, she is so cute and I love her. I love watching her. She does vlogs, like a daily vlog, and she's in Dallas, so she's kind of close to me, but I just think that like she has a lot of good insight and I really enjoy watching hers. So I do. And she had just recently posted her goals and stuff for this year. And I thought, I've heard of it before, but I think she called it a reserve or something. But I was going to write it down and I forgot. But what she called it, and I've seen like Kaylee Elaine talk about it a couple years ago or like last year sometime when I was watching a video. And that's to have like so many listings that are essentially ready to click list, but they are just like in your little reserve bank. I think that's what she called it, reserve bank. So like you can like go on and like have like 10 or 20 or whatever that are like drafts essentially, and then it's just ready to post. So if you get really sick and you can't do it, you have a brand new listing ready to go and you can do like your 3 for the day, and that way it builds that consistency. So I would like to get to a point where I also have a few, at least like 3 or 6 at least in my reserve. That way I have a few days worth to get me through. And another thing that I just actually accomplished, but I did put it on my list, is to separate my business banking from personal banking. So in December, I went and did open another account, and I'm going to use that as my like personal stuff. And of course, then I have like my household account for like bills and stuff. So I did get that separate account, and I have now switched to anything that I would have previously like had coming out of my account that I've been using with business. So that way I can just separate them completely this year, starting fresh at the beginning of 2025. So I'm really happy about that, because now I'm going to start this year, now that I actually really focused this year and made a legit business out of it, that now I'm going to focus on, like, I'm going to give 25%. Actually, I have two accounts, new accounts. So one new account we opened, and it's like, they're really small town where I live, and they have very few banks. So I didn't realize this because my husband's like, yeah, it's free and we can open it. So we went to open this account in the plans that it was going to be my personal account. But after we signed up, she then tells us, oh, by the way, if there's ever a power outage, you're not going to be able to access your account, so make sure you carry cash. Oh, by the way, if you go out of town, you better let us know, because we'll start flagging it, because we're not, you know, we kind of learn your typical spending behavior. And if you go to like Austin or you go out of state and you start spending money, we're gonna not let it go through. Like, we're gonna flag it as fraud. And I'm like, so, and my husband was like, that feels like totally like Big Brother, like you have a parent watching over you, your every step you make, and it's your money. So I didn't like that either. And after we left that, we also found out that what he thought was supposed to be free checking, you have to have a minimum of $100 in the account at all times, or else they'll charge you the $10 fee per month, which I know a lot of banks do that kind of thing, but we essentially thought we were getting free accounts that we could like use for spending and personal stuff. So anyways, so we went and got a whole nother bank account started, where that actually is like through Wells Fargo, that is like actual, like, gonna let us do that. But I decided not to close this new one out, and that I just won't use it, except that it would be a great place to put my tax money, so that way I'm not spending it. So what I essentially am gonna do is take my taxes, so every time I get paid from eBay, or every time I get paid from Poshmark or whatever, I'm gonna take that percentage out, and I'm gonna have it transferred over to the savings account, essentially is what I'm going to call it, to this account that I'm not going to touch until tax time, and then I have my tax money sitting there. So I thought that would be a good way to get that out of my account. And then the other thing is that I'm going to start paying myself out of the business account into my personal account, so that way I'm not commingling the funds, because I did go to business school, and I do know you're not supposed to do that. So, and I used to do real estate, so I totally get that business side of it. I just had been so part-time for a few years, but this last year, 2024, really kind of kick-started it into a more official business. So I feel like it's at that point where I really need to be a lot more careful about what I have in what account, and it'll help me track things better in the future. So I'm really happy about that. But today I sat down and I got it all basically accomplished. And then for social media, I want to do at least one social media post a day, meaning Instagram, TikTok. And I usually don't have a problem doing that, because I do my what sold, like I put just sold videos out. So for each item I sell, I do a little video as I'm like packing it. And then I do each item as its own video. So far, because I only sell like, I don't know, 30 items a month or 40 items a month, if that, is not a big deal to do those videos. And it gives me at least a minimum of one a day. So I'm going to continue that. So sometimes it's one a day, or two a day, or three a day, but I want to get at least one a day. And then on YouTube, I think I'm going to do my what solds weekly, because I've been trying to do it like the by part 1 and part 2, or like the 1st to the 15th and then the 16th to the end of the month. But those videos end up being like 45 minutes long, and I know people don't have all the time in the world. So I think I'm going to try to split it up now weekly, just because I think that's going to make those about 20 minutes long. And I think that's a lot easier to swallow if you don't have a lot of time on your hands to get through the video. So I'm going to do that and see how that goes this year. I think that might help. Oh, and then my goal last year was to get to 1,000, my income and my profit to $1,000 a month. And I will go over that, but my new goal is going to be 2,000 a month. That would be my goal by the end of 2025, I hope. But I didn't make the goal this year, so I might only get to the $1,000, but we'll see how it goes. I'm gonna go over my accomplishments real quick, and then I'm gonna be done with this video. So with my accomplishments, I did average out about $515 a month. So my net after fees was $6,181.69. But that doesn't include my taxes, mileage, or like expenses like the Poshmark VA app, or I have the Loom app for when I do my what sold videos. So I have like miscellaneous fees that haven't come out of that, and taxes does take a good portion of that. So but in total, my average monthly earnings was, I would say, about $515 a month. I paid about $950 is what I actually paid or invested this year into the items that I sold this year. So I have more invested in all the other items I've bought over the year, but of the items that I physically sold this over 2024, I had $946.39 invested. And then I had a gross sales of $10,927.55. And then the fees, like Poshmark fees and eBay fees, came to $1864.54. And I had refunds of $52 approximately, and a loss of a few items at $13.84. Those would be items that were like, had a stain that I missed or whatever. So, or like that lady didn't send back that shirt that was $1.27 that I had invested. So I wrote that as a loss. So that is where I'm at for this year. Yeah, and so now we're going to move on into 2025 and onwards to bigger goals. And so if my average was $515 a month, I would really like to get to that $1,000 a month mark. So maybe that should be my goal for 2025. But I just really want to give myself that, like, I want to make my goal higher than, I don't want it to be sitting here at 1,000 still. I want my goal to be 2,000. So if I make 1,000 or make 1,500, I'm going to be really happy. So I am really, really appreciative to everybody that has followed me this year and has commented, and you know, I just feel like really blessed that you guys have been here with me. It's been a rough year. This year has been hard for me personally, but we're getting through it, and I know that 2025 is going to be amazing, and I am so ready. I am ready to see new goals get accomplished, and I'm really, really happy and excited about like seeing the business account grow, and like that way I can invest like quality money and it's not commingling with my personal money. So I'm really happy to see how that works out this year and give myself actual like paydays essentially. So anyways, I think that's it for this video. I don't want to make it too long. I'm almost at 23 minutes now. So thank you so much. If you have been following me, you know that I love to do my decorations. So I'm going to put up a couple videos at the end here showing you my holiday decor from this year before it gets taken down. It's not a lot. We're still like, we have so much house, like our house is under complete remodeling. It's going to be like that for years because I just don't have the money to put into it. But we hope to get the actual painting. We've got to do some drywall on the ceiling, and we hope to get this living room painted for once. But I think what I'm going to have to do is actually take down all the decor and not put up like, because I would normally do Valentine's and then Easter, and it's always in the way. So I think I'm going to just take it all down and just really focus on getting that knocked out so that we can actually start to see some progress in the living room. So anyways, that's where I'm at with that. But yeah, thank you so much. If you have any comments or any suggestions of something that I can work on this year, or if you've noticed anything, I would love your comments. If you just want to give me encouragement, I would love to see it in the comment section below. And if you are new, please consider hitting the likes and the subscribes, as everybody says. And I will see you on my next video. Bye. Or not. Okay, so here I have my red, white, and black theme, which I wanted it to be penguins. However, I couldn't find a lot of penguin stuff. So it ended up being more along the lines of just a mix mash of black bears and cardinals and penguins and just all sorts of things. But it all flowed together and it was super cute. I was really happy with it this year, actually. And Over here, it's just kind of a little house set up. I don't even have all my nutcrackers out this year. I got that big wreath, and I got quite a few of my decorations at the Goodwill bins or just at Goodwill in general. So I was really happy with it this year. Anyways, thank you for watching.